Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk to you about clue number 2 for my mystery shawl. I'm combining some techniques I haven't used in very many shawl patterns for this clue, so I thought a tutorial video might help you if you're having a little bit of trouble. So this swatch here is meant to represent my shawl, so this is, you've already worked the first 2 rows of clue number 2 and you're ready to start the knitted cast on. So to do the knitted cast on, we are going to insert our needle as if we're going to knit, wrap the yarn all around and pull loop through, and then we're going to take that stitch and stick it back from the right needle back to the left needle. So we've cast on 1, and then you're going to keep going into that stitch on the end, wrap the yarn around, pull loop through, put it back onto the left needle. That's 2. I'm just going to do a few here. There's 3, 4, and 5. In the pattern you need to cast on 21, but I'm just gonna do a few here. I'm gonna get number 5 here. There we go. Okay, so now we're ready to start the beginning border. So we're going to just work a few little rows of garter stitch before we actually get into the lace pattern. And actually this will set us up too nicely for these new techniques. So we're going to start by knitting into the front and the back of our first stitch here. Okay, and we're going to place our marker. And then in the pattern it says that you need to knit 19. I'm just going to knit a couple here because I only cast on 5. So you knit, 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 and then you're going to do a slip, slip, knit. So basically you're taking one stitch that you of what you had just cast on and one stitch from the body of your shawl, and you slip, slip, knit them together. So it's just like doing a knitted on border on this side. Okay, so we're going to turn it around. And now we're ready to work back. So we're always going to, on the wrong side, you're always going to be slipping that first stitch with the yarn in the back. And because we're still working these beginning garter stitch border, you would just be knitting, knitting, knitting until you got to your marker. And on the wrong side, we're going to slip the marker, knit 1, and then wrap and turn. So to wrap and turn, we're going to bring the yarn to the front, slip the stitch to the right needle, bring the yarn to the back, slip the stitch back to the left needle, and then turn. I actually like to bring the yarn back to the front and then turn it, so then when I'm back on my right side row, my yarn's in the back ready to work. Okay, so we have 1 wrap stitch. And this first one, it is a little awkward, but I did write the pattern with the first stitch with the wrap and turn just so it would look the same as all the other stitches. So then we are ready to work the next row. So again, we're always, for the whole rest of this clue, you're always going to, on the right side, knit into the front and the back, and then slip the marker. And then you would knit your 19. Again, I just have a few. And then you will slip, slip, knit. And now what you should see going forward is when you get to that slip, slip, knit, you have a nice little gap here. So that's a good sort of visual clue that you're in the right spot on your shawl. And it's very important that when you do this slip, slip, knit, that then you turn your work. Resist the urge to keep knitting onto your shawl. You're creating a new shawl shape. Good for you, but not what we're going for today. So we did our slip, slip, knit, and then we're going to turn. So now we're on the wrong side. Again, wrong side. We're always going to start with slipping with the yarn in the back. Again, we're still on that garter stitch border. So we're going to knit to the marker. And then always on the wrong side row, it always is going to end with slip marker, knit 1, wrap and turn. So bring yarn to the front, slip the stitch over to the right needle, bring the yarn to the back, slip the yarn back to the left needle, and then again I bring the yarn in between and then I turn so that my yarn is in the back ready to work. So at this point, you would start working the chart. So again, you're going to have to sort of be working the 8 rows and working the chart at the same time. So you're going to be knitting into the front and the back. That's how it's always starting. You're going to slip the marker, and then this would be where you would work the chart. I'm just going to knit the stitches here. And then you, again, in the chart, you're going to end with that slip, slip, knit. You notice we had that little gap there. Good indicator that I was in the right spot. Okay, then we're going to flip to work the wrong side. Again, it's always starting with the slip with the yarn in the back, and then on the wrong side row, you would just work it as it's written. For the chart, just be careful because you do have some double yarn overs on the right side on a couple of those rows. So you would have a knit stitch in there on the wrong side on some of the rows on the chart. So just watch out for that. And then at this point, you're going to do the chart into the marker. Again, when you get to the marker, it's the same for the entire clue. You're going to slip marker, knit 1. Would help if my yarn's in the right spot. Slip the marker, knit 1, and then wrap and turn. So now you can see that we have 3 wrap stitches. So what it looks like is you have the body of your shawl. You're working this lace border this way, and as you're working the lace border, you're also adding stitches, these wrap stitches, to the other side of your lace border at the same time. So hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, you can hit up the Jen Lucas Designs Ravelry group, and I'll be in there answering any of your questions, and hope you enjoy clue number 2.